This power station came from left field. I was not expecting it to perform the way it did. An electric hot plate, a batch of wash, microwave, gas furnace, kitchen refrigerator, mini split heat pump, portable air conditioner, charge from 0 to 100%, UPS mode. I've got a series of real-world tests to show you. Push this to the limits, and I think you'll have a pretty good idea of what it can and can't do by the end. This is from UDPOWER. It's the S1200 model. Let's unbox this. In this small box here, looks like we've got one of these car 12-volt socket plugs and a barrel plug on the other end, AC charging cord, and some documentation. And here's the power station. It is very rugged feeling. Got this nice big handle up here. I really like that. It appears there might be a wireless charging pad up here on the top. We've got the power button here. It's quite the display. Never seen anything quite like this, but I like it. Here's your input side, your output side, and then your battery gauge in the middle. Got a light button right here. Turns these lights on. That's pretty nice. Low, medium, or high. I like the dim. I don't know if you caught that, but it dims. Yeah, there we go. There's high and off. Very nice. No strobe, no SOS. Just good old low, medium, and high. Way to go, UDPOWER. On the front here, we've got fast charging or optimized, just with the flip of a switch. That's nice. We have normal mode and eco mode. We'll have to see what that does. On-off switch for the DC ports. Got a 12-volt, like a car socket, 2 barrel plugs, 2 USB-C power delivery ports, 4 Type A ports. Here's our solar/DC input, and then we've got our AC inverter and 5 AC outlets. Nothing but ventilation on the side. On the back here, very interesting, we've got another solar input and an AC input, so maybe this has a higher voltage. Let's look in the manual to see what that does. So it does advertise that it has a UPS mode and that it will switch within 10 milliseconds. We'll have to test that. It does have wireless charging up to 15 watts, and then it has a 1200 watt pure sine wave inverter, can surge up to 1800. The USB Type A outputs, we've got a mixture of voltages and amperages. You can pull a total of 54 watts out of those ports. And then here's the answer to the question about the solar. So the barrel plug input is rated for just up to 12 volts, 12 amps max, for 144 watts. However, that solar charging input on the back is good for 12 to 75 volts at 12 amps, up to 400 watts max. So you could dump in potentially 500-ish watts between those two ports with solar. Not too shabby, considering that it is a rated capacity of 1,191 watt hours and does use LFP batteries. If for some reason you wanted SOS mode, it does have it. You just push and hold this button and it should go into SOS mode. Yep, there we go. If you have any of the outputs turned on, AC or DC, and it recognizes that there hasn't been a load on it for 20 hours, it will automatically power down. At least it's a very generous period of time before they do that. So that should allow your fridge to cycle back on and it won't shut off prematurely. I've run into that issue with a number of power stations. As far as the difference goes between fast charging and optimized, the manual here states that on fast charging, it will charge at an 800 watt speed. On optimized charging, the system will automatically turn on the battery balancing system and control the charging rate. The ultra quiet charging function will also be turned on at the same time. So we'll have to test that. This normal and eco mode switch here, the time for no operation screen to go out will be reduced from 5 minutes to 2 minutes. When the AC/DC output is turned on, it will intelligently shut down the output port if it has not been used for it says misused, but I'm pretty sure that means not used, for 4 hours with no load. And then it goes up to 20 hours on normal mode. And then it says the management chip will intelligently allocate energy to ensure that the product's standby power consumption is reduced to extremely low levels. So I'm guessing that's standby power consumption, idle power consumption, whatever you want to call it. All right, let's just plug it in here. And I've got it set to fast charging. So let's just see if it dumps in 800 watts or not. And there we go, 799 watts. All right, now just for fun, let's try changing it to optimized, see what that does to it. Looks like, at least at the moment, that halves the power input. Okay, can this UDPOWER S1200 run a full-size vacuum cleaner? Let's find out. Seems to be powering it. We're over the limit, 1,300 watts. It's running it. Let's test this UDPOWER S1200 with an electric hot plate. Here we go. Oh, I guess I should turn it on. There we go. Light is on. 1,300 watts, 1,400. All right, it didn't trip out yet, but I want to test something because I'm suspicious something fishy is going on here with the voltage. Maybe not, but let me test. Okay, so now I've got this electric hot plate plugged into this watt meter. We can see that idle, this inverter is producing 120 volts, which is great. So now I want to try turning this heavy load on and we'll see if this voltage sags significantly. No, actually. It is dishing up the total full power, 118. It's normal for it to go down a few volts under a heavy load like this. So it's running the electric hot plate piece of cake. 1,400 watts basically on the dot. Let's see what this says. Yep, 1405, 1401. One of everyone's favorite tests here. Heavy surge testing, as well as to see if this power station can run a batch of wash. We're going to start with the destructor of power stations, the dryer. Now, this is a gas dryer, so it just uses the standard 120 volt plug. If you look back here behind the dryer, you can see that the 240 volt outlet is empty, and you might be able to see the gas line back there somewhere. Obviously, this will not power an electric dryer at all because it's only 120 volts. The thing that makes it super, super hard is this drum starting to tumble the heavy, wet clothes, going from 0 to 100 essentially. And there's only 2 power stations that I've tested to date that have been able to do this. All the others have been defeated by this. So, let's give it a test. Go ahead and close this up. All right, I'm going to train you guys on the screen here so you can see what it does. Starting in 3, 2, 1. And it overloaded. Didn't hardly even try. So that's pretty typical. The amount of surge this requires is insane. And it just overloaded again. So I don't know if you saw, but this does restart so automatically. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to go ahead and unplug the dryer though now because I don't want it to trying to restart again. Let me throw some clothes in the washer and I'll come back when it's on spin cycle, which is when it's using the most power, and we'll see what it's consuming at that point. All right, we're in spin cycle here. And if we get this to turn back on, you can see we're pulling just over 200 watts, 230-ish watts. So this power station can run a batch of wash all day long in the washer. It cannot run the dryer at all. All right, can this S1200 power station run a full-size microwave? If you follow the cord here, it comes down, we've got it plugged into this power station. I've got it set to voltage. Notice that right now it's producing basically 120 volts. This microwave is going to pull about 1800 watts. So let's see what happens with the voltage here. So notice we're 115, 170, and then we drop. So right at first it holds it steady, and then the power station automatically drops the voltage to run the load. So now we're down to 104 watts. I'm sorry, 104 volts, 105 volts. Okay, and you can see that the power station is limiting itself to its 1200 watt range. Now the microwave ended, and the voltage rebound. There are a lot of power stations that offer that capability to lower the voltage so that it can run heavier loads like this microwave, but a lot of the other brands have the option to turn that feature off or on. Some call it, powerlifting mode, some people call it, extreme mode, I don't know. Anyway, there's a bunch of different words that they call it by. Anyway, point is, it would be nice if these guys had an option to turn that off or on. Personally, I'd rather, if I go over the limit of the inverter, I'd rather have it just shut off rather than send crazy low voltage to an appliance that may be a lot more sensitive than my microwave and in turn could cause damage. I'd just rather have it shut off. That's me personally speaking. So even though that technically did run the microwave, it didn't run it at full power, so that's a fail. And to be clear, I'm not surprised about that. This is rated to only 1200 watts. I knew this microwave is over that. But I want to show you what happens, and I'd rather blow up my stuff so that you don't have to blow up yours during a grid down situation. All right, next we want to test this S1200 power station running a full-size gas furnace. Notice that I've got this yellow cord plugged in, and it comes over here and plugs into this device. This is the EZ generator transfer switch. Game changer for hardwired 120 volt critical loads like a furnace. Because with the simplicity of plugging an extension cord in and flipping a switch, you're able to power stuff like this off an inverter or generator during power outage. I'll leave a link down in the description to this product as well as the installation video so you guys can check it out further. Got the induced draft on, hot surface igniters fired up. With those two things running, we are pulling just over 120 watts. All right, the fan is fully up to speed here on this furnace. We come over here and take a look. You can see that we're pulling just under 600 watts. We're at a 91% state of charge, but notice that it's estimating just under 2.5 hours. So the full 100% state of charge, you should easily be able to get 2.5 hours of runtime. Bearing in mind, of course, that most furnaces cycle on and then turn off. Cycle on and turn off. So in reality, you'd probably get substantially longer than 2.5 hours worth of heat for your home, just because the furnace won't have to run 2.5 hours straight unless for some reason your house has gotten really, really cold. All right, let's see if this UDPOWER S1200 can power my full-size kitchen refrigerator, and if so, how long? Go ahead and turn the AC output on. Notice that we're at a 100% state of charge. Plug this guy in. So whenever I plug it in to start, it always goes into a defrost mode. That's normal when you have a frost-free freezer, so those heating elements consume about 380 watts, it looks like, 383 watts. Notice that it is 9:42 p.m. Also be sure that when you're running a fridge, you have this switch moved over to normal. so that this does not time out on you when the fridge is not drawing any power. I just want to show you here now that the fridge compressor has turned on. We are now only pulling 86 watts, so it's very efficient. We'll be back when it finishes. Guys, 5:34 the next day, and this just died from powering my full-size fridge. See that? Still currently plugged in at the moment. So that means this power station just ran my full-size fridge for over 19 hours. Almost 20 hours, actually. That is fantastic. Can this UDPOWER S1200 run? Follow this cord. A 120-volt mini-split heat pump. Let's find out. Fired it right up. Piece of cake. Let's go see how much power it's pulling. Alright, so we got the mini-split running over there, and it's just barely started. So on startup here, we're pulling 1,000 watts, but the crazy thing about mini splits is as soon as they have kind of gotten in the groove, they start dropping their power consumption. It's slowly dropping here. We're now down to the 970 watt range and dropping. That's the awesome thing about mini splits. They're so efficient. See, we're dropping even more now. 800. Let's give it a few minutes to kind of stabilize out here. It's a very hot day today in the upper 90s. Real world testing, right? We've settled down to about 830 watts is all. This is at 82% state of charge. It's estimating that we have 1.4 hours of runtime. So on a super hot day with this running at the current load that it is, that power station fully charged would give you a little over an hour and a half runtime. Now this is incredibly efficient, so this will even ramp down further. I've seen it ramp all the way down to the 200 watt range before. It just depends on how much load it's got on it. So your mileage will vary on a variety of factors, but a solid 1.5 hours on a full charge, I'd say, for a 9,000 BTU mini split heat pump 120 volt model in high 90 degree days. We saw the performance of a mini split that starts up really softly. Now I've got a 15,000 BTU portable air conditioner plugged into this power station. This is going to hit it with a huge amount of surge, because this does not start up softly like a mini split. So we'll see if this power station can survive that. Hopefully the air conditioner survives it too. Here we go. And it errored out. It tried to start, errored out here. So that's a no-go. Alright, we have fully depleted this power station. So now we are going to see how long it takes to charge from 0 to 100% off its AC wall charger. Plug it in, and we're off. So start the time. I also need to show that I have slid the switch over to fast charging mode. Okay, I was not right here when this finished, but according to the time lapse, this power station took just about 1 hour and 40 minutes to go from 0 to 100%. Not too bad for charging at an 800 watt speed, basically. This power station has a UPS mode, so we're going to test that. Got a high-end desktop gaming PC. I've got 3 4K monitors, and right now I'm pushing it really hard with a 4K gaming benchmark. You can see here that we're pushing just about 600 watts out of this unit. So the question is, when I kill power to this, will it be able to switch over fast enough to keep this alive? So here's the plug right here. I'm going to pull that. Keep your eyes on the screens up in the top of your frame as well. 3, 2, 1. Yep, not even a flicker or anything. Very, very quick. Let's plug it back in and make sure that nothing funky happens with that. It switched seamlessly back to wall power. Let's pull it one more time, just so we can test it twice. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, not even a hitch. So this has a really, really good UPS in it. Sound level wise, this power station is really good. We've got a space heater hooked up, and it's been running for a couple of minutes here, pushing this inverter pretty hard. I'm gonna shut it down and hurry and put the microphone over near the exhaust vent so we can hear the noise level of this power station. So really not too bad at all. Barely audible, and it shuts off pretty quick once you shut the load off. It's a very low-pitched sound, so it's very easy to live with. The louder sound is actually when it is charging. So I've got it on fast charging, dumping in 800 watts at the moment. Listen to this. So the charging sound is a little bit of a higher pitched sound. It's not loud or obnoxious at all, but it seems like it turns on different fans when it's charging versus when it's discharging. So leave me a comment down below on your thoughts on this power station. I am actually quite impressed with what they have included on this, and it really packs a punch. It did a really good job on all the tests. Probably the biggest issue is the automatic voltage regulation when you start getting close to its limit. I'd rather have it just shut off than start doing funny things with the voltage. I know there's going to be a lot of you that really like the simplicity of everything, with toggle switches and whatnot to control it. as opposed to needing, you know, any kind of app control or something like that. It's just nice to be able to come up and flip a switch and call it done. And the build quality should not be underestimated. This thing is probably one of the most tanky feeling power stations that I've tested. And as you can see here on this scorecard, it did really, really well with the vast majority of the tests. If they could set it up so that it had an 1800 watt continuous inverter, that would be the cherry on the top, just because that's the most common wattage of most household outlets. Anyway, links are down in the description so you can check it out further. I try my best, you guys, to do some real-world testing scenarios, not just talking head, showing the features and the specs and different things like that. If that's of value to you, please do 4 things for me. Like, comment, share, subscribe. 4 100% free things for you to do, but really benefit the channel. So many things are going behind paywalls nowadays, subscriptions, all this garbage, and I personally find a lot of value to just free information. That's what I'm trying to provide you guys. And so help me out, do your part, just do those 4 free things for me as well, and we'll both benefit together in a free way. Sure appreciate all of you, and we'll catch y'all next time.